Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm coming to you from the land down under with another off the board project for the week. This one is a Tuesday, which means it's a technique day, and I've had this sitting in my board for a while, so I thought I'd give this technique a go. Of course, I'm still not as messy as that, but I do like how they turned out as a messy rose. So I have these photos of my daughter. When we got off the cruise, we went to Roma Street Gardens in Brisbane, and they are absolutely beautiful. It was a very hot, bright, sunny day that day, and we just wanted some time to do something roaming before we could get into our hotel room and dump all of our bags and things. So we went over to the gardens, and I thought these would be perfect for these messy roses. I've got a little bit of things that I've collected to the side, and these leaves I actually don't end up using. I choose to use something else. I did pull out this thread because I thought I was going to use it, but I don't in the end, and that's, you know, it was always the intention to, but I didn't get there. I love this paper, and I really love this middle bit here, but I'm not going to use it on this layout, so I'm going to work around that. I have my grey for my framing. Now, this is just beautiful paper. It's uniquely creative. It's the Full Bloom collection, and I really do like it. And I just think that this matches all the colours in the photos beautifully, and this side is just as pretty. I do like that side. It's very pretty, but I tend not to use it for this layout. So I'm going to start with this one, and I think this will be my part that I want at the top. And then I'm going to put the other one to the bottom. So I'm going to prepare the page so that I can get started, and I do apologise in advance because this video is a little bit longer than my normal ones, but there is a lot going on, particularly with those rosettes that I'm going to make. As I said, I'm not that great with new techniques, and I take a bit of a time to get through them. I have to think about how I want the page to work so that I'm layering it up to give it a texture to it. And I'm just going to tear that pink bit off to come in underneath, and then that will sit over the top. I did like that rose down the bottom, so I kept it there. I am inking all the edges with pumice stone just to lift it up off the frame and give it some depth or shadowing so that it looks like it's lifted and sitting above and not flat. I realised when I start layering it up that I need one more layer in the tearing there, which is fine. It's all just experimenting and having a go and just layering up to meet your needs. I really do like a tearing technique. I don't use it very often, which is a shame because sometimes it looks really effective, and lately I've been seeing lots of great layouts where people have been using it. So I'm just layering up my different layers there, and I'll put these ones down firmly because I want them across the bottom. I've left the little flap because I'm going to tuck the photo in underneath, I think, and you can see that there are some dots in the paper design already. So I have this stencil and the pumice stone, which I'm just extending the dots down into the bottom part of the page so that that pattern carries through, and it looks like it actually was already printed on paper when you look at it all together. So I've picked out some red which matches the reddy colour down in that rose at the bottom, and I'm just using the other pages that are left over from the paper tearing and this project to make my circles, which I will use to cut the pieces that are going to form those tattered roses. So I'm just inking up the edges to define the edges there, and I actually noticed that I just missed one, and you know, while I was doing it, no idea at all, but I can see here that I have this double-sided tape which I use on pieces of paper that I am going to run through my die cutting machine to create a sticker so that it's easier to attach it. And I thought because this is going to have lots and lots of little pieces to create these roses, it would be the easiest way to create the roses without having so much glue on the page, because as a sticker they just all stick down onto the paper quite easy, and this double-sided stuff is quite tacky, so it is quite firm when it sits. So I cut the pieces off, and I realised that I need to actually put my photos in place so I can build my rosettes around the photos. I'm mounting them with the leftover grey that I've cut out from the back of my framing, and I'm tucking those in underneath the torn edges there just to fill in that part and add the interest. And then it's giving me my spacing so I can build my rosettes around the page. I have cut most of them up already, and then I realised I actually need centres to work from. So using the 5 different colours, I create 5 centres, which I've inked with the pumice stone to give them the definition, and now I can start building these. Now I'm a little bit too precise, and I layer up these semicircles around it, taking time to overlap, overthinking it. I think you just need to just get in there and layer them up. Not going to lie, they are labour intensive, so I'm just layering them up one at a time, balancing out my colours, looking at the way I want them laid, and building them one bit at a time. So to build one, I'm quite astounded actually how much has to go in. Now I'm not messy, and I can't help myself, and I keep getting nice and neat, and if I wasn't so fussed about it being exact, it probably would be a lot faster and a lot easier. As I'm going through the edges, I'm inking them to give the definition. So I didn't make you watch me do all of them because it was, I will admit, a long time to put them together. I'm now adding in this, I don't know what you call it, fibre, so that it's got a little bit of texture. I really like this fibre. It's got a bit of sparkle to it. It's the right colour, matches the page beautifully. Just tucking it in underneath with a bit of glue to hold it in place here and there so that it sits nicely on the page. And I've got that little bit left there which would fit nicely in under that last bit there. So I've got some texture and the layers, and just hold it down with my Nouveau glue there. I really do like those rosettes. They look very cute. They were a very effective thing. But as I said, they were labour intensive. I'm not going to lie. They took a long time to do. I wasn't making you watch me do those after I did that first one. It took a while. So I have gone back now with this stencil that has the boughs in it, and I really do like it. I got this one from Scrapbook Fantasies, so it's very, very useful for building up your clusters and your foliage in the background. I'm using gathered twigs here to just stencil them onto the background, just to add that little shadow of a bough. It just adds to the cluster of those rosettes, which I think is very, very effective, and it just looks like the paper it printed in. Now I have also die cut with this new die that arrived just today, timely I can say, some leaves. But before I do that, I'm going to just colour stain my title. It's a chipboard from Scrapbook Fantasies. It says bloom where you are planted, and I have 3 little bees, and I'm using some distress stain there to do that. The leaves, as I said, nice and timely have come, and I've inked up the edges using the gathered twigs on that to give it some interest and some definition so that it doesn't blend in with the background too much. It just sort of just builds those clusters that I want to see with those rosettes. And as I said, it was an interesting technique. It does look effective. I probably have to play with it a bit more to get more comfortable doing it, but I do like the final effect of it. I love putting in the different colours of the foliage. It's adding to the colours of the layout. It matches nicely, and it bulks up those flowers without them making them look too flat and two-dimensional, which they could be. If I was to do it again, probably I would create those rosettes onto a clear acetate and then cut around them and pop them up off the page. That's probably what I would do if I was to do it differently again. I do like how it's coming together. That title is just now dried and lightened, so it matches in better than what I thought it was going to do. And it fits beautifully just over the edge of that rosette and flower there. And I have these little bees, and they are very, very cute little bees. And I was going to cut out all my procrastination, but I want to show you what I'm like. I move this bee around so much that I'm not sure, even to the point when I'm gluing it down in the final phase, I'm still moving it around just before I decide where to put it. I'm adding in the Nuvo dots around the centres of those roses just to add some interest. I've doodled in a bee track for each of the bees, just so that they don't look like they're just added onto the page. They just look like they've flown in and for a little visit. I'm putting my journaling up here in the top of this chair here, and that's how they came together. So you can see how all the bits of that semicircles all overlap to create that rosette, and how the leaves have gone together to build the cluster. And I'm actually pretty pleased with how this has come together. At first I wasn't too sure. I really struggled with the idea of a technique, but I'm happy with the final product, and this is the layout. Hopefully there's something here that you found interesting. You know, I challenge you to have a go at those rosettes. They are tricky to build, but they do look effective. And as I said, I think I will have a go again, but I will build them on acetate. There's a lot of people playing along with off the board with pineapple papers. That's Crystal Barrett. I put the playlist in the comments below. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that you like my content and keeps it in the feed. Thanks to those who have already subscribed, and if you haven't, hit that button. It helps as well. If you leave me a comment, I'll get back to you, I promise. I really do appreciate your feedback and the time taken to watch. It's very, very appreciated. Check me out on all my socials under Kathy Loves to Scrap, including Instagram. And once again, thanks for watching. Happy scrapping. Until next time.